Are you planning a trip to the Smokies? Whether you're staying in a cabin on a mountaintop or a hotel down on the Parkway, in an RV at the KOA, or the family tent in Elkmont, whether you enjoy walking the busy streets of Gatlinburg or a quiet trail in Greenbrier, if your idea of fun is speeding down on a mountain coaster or a vista view from a mountain summit, then this podcast is for you. I'm Chuck Schmidt, and I'm the Outsider. From moonshine to pancakes, from your wedding day to a family reunion, we're here to make your visit more enjoyable, more memorable, sharing with you more of the Smokies. So if your idea of the perfect park is Dollywood or the Great Smoky Mountains themselves, we've got a lot to talk about. So let's get started. But first things first, don't feed the bears. Welcome to episode number 2 of An Outsider's Guide to the Great Smoky Mountains. I'm Chuck Schmidt, and I'm the Outsider. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Gatlinburg. We're going to take a closer look at the attractions, places to dine, things to do, interesting things to see. But first, we're going to start out with a little bit of a history lesson in what we like to call barely accurate history. All right, bear with me. Get it? This will only take 5 minutes. When I travel to an area, I like to find out a little bit about the history of the location in which I'm going to. So that's what barely accurate history is all about. Get out your pencils and paper, because this may be on the final exam later. Let's get started. The earliest settlers came in around the early 1800s, actually about 1802. William Ogle was the first settler. He came to the area, decided to build his homestead, notched his logs, but did not build a cabin. Instead, he went home to South Carolina in 1803 to collect his family and bring them back to help. But instead of being welcomed back with hugged, warm kisses and hugs from the family, instead, he was greeted with malaria and soon died. Now, his wife and Martha and family returned in 1806, and they found his notched logs, and they actually built his cabin near where the area of Baskins Creek and the West Fork of the Little Pigeon come together. The cabin has been preserved, and it's since been moved, and it still stands today in the heart of Gatlinburg, right near the Gatlinburg Welcome Center. Now, for the next decade, a steady stream of settlers moved into the area. Most were veterans from the American Revolutionary War, or the War of 1812, and they were given 50-acre tracts they had received for their service during the war, and they turned those into deeds on property. Many of their descendants still live in the area today. This area was originally known not as Gatlinburg, but as White Oak Flats. Robert Gatlin arrived in the area in 1854. He built himself a business by building a general store, and inside the general store, he established a post office, and he was the one who gave the town the name Gatlinburg. Now, keep in mind, Gatlin only arrived in the area in 1854, and he was constantly bickering with his neighbors. Now, by 1857, this had turned into a full-blown feud that had erupted between the Gatlins and the Ogles. Some say it was over Gatlin's attempts to divert the town's main road. I would assume more than likely it was because the town wasn't named Ogleburg or White Oak Flats. Instead, it was named after a guy who'd only been in town for 2 years and bickered with everybody. Well, Mr. Gatlin, on the eve of the Civil War, he found himself, who is a Confederate sympathizer, he found himself at odds with other residents who were mostly pro-Union, so he was forced out of town in 1859. Now, despite anti-slavery sentiments, Gatlinburg, like most Smoky Mountain communities, tried to remain neutral during the war. This changed when a company of Confederate soldiers occupied the town to protect the saltpeter mines at Alum Cave, up near the Tennessee-North Carolina border. Now, Federal forces marched south from Knoxville and from Sevierville, and they drove them out. And as the Union converged on the town, the outnumbered Confederates were forced to retreat back across the Smokies, back into North Carolina. And after that point, Confederate forces really did not return. So let's hit fast forward up to 1912. In 1912, the Pi Beta Phi women's fraternity established a settlement school in Gatlinburg after a survey of the region found that this town was most in need of educational facilities. It was also the site of the first medical clinic in the area. The school's enrollment grew from 33 to 134 in its first year of operation, and they provided basic education to the children of the area. The settlement school's children expressed gratitude to the teachers by bringing them gifts of handmade wares made by their parents, things like weavings, baskets, wood carving. The school then started and created a small market for these local crafts. And in 1926, Aerocraft Shop opened, and it was open to the market, and they sold beautiful arts and crafts to the Appalachian people. The school is now known as Aeromont School of Arts and Crafts, and it is an internationally recognized visual arts education center. Now, again, around 1900, tourists began to trickle into the area, drawn to the Smokies by the writings of authors such as Mary Noailles Murphy and Horace Kephart, who wrote extensively about the region's natural wonders. During the early 1900s, extensive logging was happening and increased calls for conservationists for federal action. And in 1911, Congress passed the Weeks Act to allow for the purchase of land for national forests. Author Horace Kephart and a group of Knoxville area businesses began advocating for the creation of a national park in the Smokies that would be similar to Yellowstone or Yosemite in the western United States. With a purchase of 76,000 acres from the Little River Lumber Company, in 1926, the movement quickly became a reality. Now, Andrew Huff spearheaded that movement for the national park in Gatlinburg area, and he was the first one to open a hotel in Gatlinburg called the Mountain View Hotel. And he did that in 1916. His son Jack established the LeConte Lodge atop Mount LeConte in 1926. It still stands today and is one of the more in-demand destinations in the area. Now, in spite of the resistance of the lumberers near Elkmont and the difficulties with the Tennessee legislature, Great Smoky Mountains National Park opened in 1934. The park radically changed Gatlinburg. Now, in 1912, when the Pi Beta Phi women's fraternity arrived, Gatlinburg was a small hamlet with 6 houses, a blacksmith shop, a general store, a Baptist church, and a greater community of about 600 people, most of whom lived in log cabins, and at the time there was only one Ripley's Believe It or Not attraction. Now, in 1934, the first year the park opened, an estimated 40,000 visitors passed through the city. Within one more year, this number exploded to 500,000. From 1940 to 1950, the cost in land went from $50 an acre to $8,000 an acre. Now the park sees 11 million visitors a year. One half of the U.S. population is within a one-day's drive of Gatlinburg. So there you have it. Now you probably know more about the history of Gatlinburg than 90% of the people who ever come down here to the area. Thank you for listening to our barely accurate history lesson. Getting around in Gatlinburg, one thing you're going to find out is the roads are narrow, lots of traffic. It's only 2 lanes in both directions on the parkway. The stoplights are numbered, 1 through 10 for your convenience, on both 441 and on 321, also referred to as the East Parkway. There are tons of pedestrians that cross the streets in Gatlinburg. Pedestrians do have the right of way, so trying to get up and down the main street in Gatlinburg can take forever. There is some free parking. I mentioned on the earliest episode, the overview of the area. River Road is a great place to look for free parking, but again, it fills up very early. Many parking garages are on River Road. Typically, they are cheaper than the parking garages up on the parkway. They're also a lot easier to get into and out of, so keep that in mind. And if you're heading to the new Sky Bridge, Christ in the Smokies is a museum just off of River Road. They offer all-day-long parking for $5. The one thing I do recommend is to park your car and then ride the trolley. You can board the trolleys at more than 100 different locations throughout the city of Gatlinburg. Anywhere you see the street trolley sign, you're just minutes away from climbing aboard. Park your car and hop aboard one of the Gatlinburg trolleys, all but the tan and the pink routes. Unlimited times for only $2 a day. The trolley pass is available at numerous participating locations, Gatlinburg lodging facilities, the City Hall, as well as the 2 Gatlinburg Welcome Centers. Now, the National Park Trolley, the TAN Trolley, runs from June to October. The route departs from the Gatlinburg Mass Transit Center and runs up River Road onto the Parkway and out to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Stops include Sugarlands Visitor Center, Laurel Falls Parking Area, and the Elkmont Campground before returning to Gatlinburg. The TAN route lasts about 1.5 hours. The fare is $2 round trip. Exact change is required. Now, the Pink Trolley, that offers convenient access to Dollywood. The trolley departs from the Gatlinburg Mass Transit Center at traffic light number 5. Approximately every 60 minutes, it stops in Pigeon Forge and at the Dollywood Information Center on the Parkway and the entrance to Dollywood itself. Dollywood drop-offs coincide with the park's opening time each day, and pickups run 1.5 hours after the park's closing time. From November until late March, the trolley runs only on dates when Dollywood is open. The fare is $1 each way, and once again, exact change is required. So getting into the attractions in Gatlinburg. As I mentioned on the overview show, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies is a great aquarium to go to, showcasing sharks, sea turtles, sea rays, penguins. They have a glass-bottom boat ride. There's over 10,000 sea creatures and 10 themed galleries. The highlight of the aquarium is the 300-plus foot underwater tunnel. It allows visitors to view sharks and sea turtles and stingrays and other exotic sea animals face to face without getting wet. It's got a moving glide path that seemingly moves you or whisks you throughout the depths of the ocean. You can step off wherever you want and take a closer look, but you're just within inches of these magnificent creatures. It's just a wonderful, wonderful area. One thing to keep in mind, the Gatlinburg Aquarium is considerably smaller than, say, the nearby Tennessee Aquarium in Chattanooga or the Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta, but it still has world-class exhibits at this aquarium, and it makes it one of the best attractions in the region. While Ripley's Aquarium is considerably smaller, it's currently ranked the #1 aquarium in the country. This should definitely be on your don't-miss list. Next attraction I want to discuss is Anakeesta. Admission to Anakeesta includes a scenic ride via the Chondola to the summit of Anakeesta Mountain, where you enter the magical Firefly Village. There's spectacular views of downtown Gatlinburg along the way, and at the top you'll experience one of the most beautiful views of Mount LeConte. Up on top they have quaint gift shops, casual dining, they have a smokehouse barbecue, food truck, they have savory pastries, hot drinks, and they have ice cream at Pearl's Pie in the Sky. Now, the Clifftop Bar and Grill features a full-service bar. It's got a delicious menu and plenty of outdoor seating. Now, while up at Anakeesta, some of the things you can do is stroll along the 16-bridge canopy walk, which is 40 to 60 feet above the forest floor. You can explore the whimsical treehouse village playground for the kids. There is a beautiful memorial forest walk, and you can learn about the November 2016 fire and how it impacted the Mountain Strong community. You can discover the new Vista Gardens Botanical Walk, and it features walking trails and meanders through lush gardens filled with a variety of flowers and plants. Now, for even more excitement, they have a dueling zipline adventure, so you can race side by side with friends on a 1,000-foot zipline that soars about 125 feet above the ground. At each challenge tower, you'll experience the thrill of rappelling to your next zipline challenge. And if you love the mountain coasters, they do have the Rail Runner, which is the only single-rail mountain coaster in the Smoky Mountains area. The newest attraction that came to Gatlinburg recently is the Sky Bridge at Skylift Park. The Skylift Park has offered Gatlinburg some of the best views and memorable experiences since 1954. And now it's even better with the new Sky Bridge. Sky Bridge is the longest pedestrian suspension bridge in North America at 680 feet. It's 100 feet off the ground at its highest point. As I warn people, the Sky Bridge moves. It bounces, it sways. That may be a little unnerving to some people. The glass panels in the middle are stunning, but they're unnerving to some. Some people who are afraid of heights might actually have an issue on there. They have an expansive new sky deck overlooking Gatlinburg and the Great Smoky Mountains. And from the sky deck, they have beautiful outdoor seating areas, and it's a spectacular view. They have a cafe, a bar, a gift shop. So you can sit from your position on top of Crockett Mountain, and you can enjoy just sweeping scenic views and vantage points that exist nowhere else. The wristband is good all day long. So as I had mentioned in a previous podcast, me and my wife went up there in the morning, and then we came back and we sat in some of the rocking chairs. We watched the sunset. Just an absolutely spectacular day. It's a great attraction, a great venue, and that is the Gatlinburg Sky Bridge. Another great attraction is Uber Gatlinburg. Uber Gatlinburg is a Four Seasons amusement park that is set up in the mountains. During the summertime, you can enjoy the aerial tram, summer tubing, ice skating, ice bumper cars. They have a mountain coaster themselves. They have the Alpine Slide, which is kind of like a luge ride. They have a scenic chairlift, a rock wall. They have 3 water rides, mini golf, and much, much, much more. In the winter, you can enjoy skiing, snowboarding, snow tubing, and a full snowboarding freestyle terrain park. One of the things you don't want to miss up at Uber Gatlinburg is Oktoberfest. It's one of the highlights. And one of the highlights is the food. Most of the food is German-inspired, as you can imagine, and it's derived from recipes and cuisine from traditional Bavarian festivals. It includes, but is not limited to, schnitzel, bratwurst, strudel, turkey legs, pretzel, sauerkraut. During this month-long celebration, along with multiple daily shows, their Season of Uber restaurant switches into their Oktoberfest menu. And don't miss the outdoor beer garden, which is open for beer samplings for festival goers who are 21 and over. And along with the authentic German cuisine and beer, you can also look forward to outdoor games and the Smoky Mountain Oompa Band. So that's all Oktoberfest up at Uber Gatlinburg, so don't miss that. Now, when you come into Gatlinburg or you come into the area, period, one of the most popular names that you're going to see, obviously, is Ripley's. Ripley's has 8 different attractions in the area. Obviously, the Ripley's Aquarium at the Smokies, that's the number 1 attraction. Right behind that is Ripley's Auditorium, 500 exhibits and artifacts in 16 different galleries on 3 different floors, human and animal oddities, exotic primitive items, authentic shrunken heads and cannibal skulls, and visual illusions, and a fascinating array of the most unusual and just weird stuff in all of Gatlinburg. That's at the Ripley's Auditorium. Ripley's also has the 5D moving theater. This is a state-of-the-art theater with digital effects and motion seats, so it gives you a feeling like you're actually part of the movie. Ripley's Haunted Adventure takes a haunted house to a next level. Live actors lurk behind every corner of this creepy renovated mansion, just waiting to scare the snot out of you and your family. I'll pass. And finally, there's Ripley's Mirror Maze, Ripley's Guinness Book of World Records, and then 2 different Ripley's miniature golf courses, one in Gatlinburg and one in Sevierville. So again, that's the Ripley's attractions. Don't miss those. Now, down near the corner of the Parkway and the Historic Nature Trail is the Space Needle. The iconic Gatlinburg Space Needle is 407 feet up to the observation tower, and that overlooks downtown Gatlinburg and the Smoky Mountains. You can ride the glass elevator to the top for a 360-degree view of the Great Smoky Mountains and Gatlinburg. But there's more at the Space Needle complex. They also have Arcadia. It's a 25,000 square foot family entertainment complex featuring over 100 of the latest games, amusements, and some of the area's largest prize centers. There are 2 different escape rooms, Headcase and The Captured. The Iris Theater in the complex features Impossibilities, starring magical comedian Chris Collins and master mentalist Eric Doble. They present a night of stunning magic, reality-shattering, mind-reading, and hilarious mayhem. An evening of family fun where impossibilities are brought to life in front of your very eyes. So again, that's all the different things that you can do at the Space Needle. One of the other attractions is Gatlinburg's Smoky Mountain Fun. It features a blacklight golf and another miniature golf course. They again have 3 different types of escape rooms, the Legend of Atlantis, Moonshine Hill Hootenanny, and the Haunting of Hyde House. They have a Ruggeds Ropes course, bumper cars, they have a laser maze, and then Atomic Rush, which combines Simon Says with Whack-A-Mole in a high-tech setting. One of the other attractions in town is Rowdy Bear Mountain. Rowdy Bear Mountain has the Rowdy Bear Coaster. The Rowdy Bear Coaster is a gravity-propelled alpine mountain coaster that reaches speeds up to 35 miles an hour while it winds through the woods of Rowdy Bear Mountain. You control the speed. Rowdy Bear Coaster has the latest intelligent distance control system to ensure you're safe and you have an enjoyable experience. But you can also experience a mountain coaster at night. The track is lit up with over 50,000 LED lights. The Rowdy Bear Coaster you can ride as a single or 2 in a cart. Rowdy Bear Mountain also features a one-of-a-kind, the Rowdy Bear Mountain Glider, which is a suspended single-rail coaster that safely soars through the treetops of Rowdy Bear Mountain. This amazing coaster combines free-falling with hang gliding in a safe, fun experience. It's easy to ride, no experience is necessary, and again, you can ride that both day and night. There's also Cooter's Place. If you're a big fan of Dukes of Hazzard, this is a definite must-go-to. You can race the General Lee and Gatlinburg's only indoor slick track for 40 laps at speeds up to 23 miles an hour in go-karts equipped with the finest safety features. You can play 18 holes of miniature golf at the Hazzard Country Club with a trip down the Dukes Memory Lane. You can visit the Dukes of Hazzard Museum and shop free of charge. Enjoy Cooter's fabulous collection of props and costumes and script from the Duke Boys. And Cooter also is on hand every once and again. They do have regular appearances by Ben Cooter Jones and other cast members from the Dukes of Hazzard. Again, that's at Cooter's Place. 2 other attractions that you might want to visit is Earthquake the Ride and the Mysterious Mansion. Earthquake, you're strapped into your seat. Hold on for the ride of your life. It's an earthquake. As the car moves out of the station, there's another train on the track bearing down on you. Sidewalks buckle. Ceilings cave in. The track gives way and sinks into the ground. The quake intensifies. Sirens scream. Walls collapse. Just as you think it's all over, you're surprised by a flood of water. That's Earthquake. Mysterious Mansion is a classic turn-of-the-century 3-story haunted mansion in an intensely frightening self-guided tour of this once grand old Victorian home. Embrace yourself in fear as you find your way through secret passageways, winding staircases, daunting dark corridors, searching for a way out, but beware, you never know what relentless, rotting resident may be lurking around the corner. Again, trying to scare the snot out of you. This is Gatlinburg's original haunted house, and this is the Mysterious Mansion. Now for something completely different. Christ in the Smokies Museum and Gardens. They have exhibits depicting breathtaking scenes with over 100 life-size wax figures in realistic settings, with amazing lighting, special effects, and beautiful music and dramatic narrations. The adjoining rotunda houses a priceless collection of biblical coins and precious gems, plus a video production of the Old Testament filmed in the Holy Land. In the patio garden is a monumental sculpture of the head of Christ, so skillfully carved, not only do the eyes, but the entire face seems to follow you with every move. This is one of the few attractions in Gatlinburg that does have their own nearby parking. If you love miniature golf as much as I love miniature golf, then don't miss Hillbilly Miniature Golf. Hillbilly Miniature Golf, you will ride a inclining, I guess you would call it an incline railroad, up to the top of the mountain, and then you play miniature golf as you come down the mountain. They have two different courses. They have an upper course and a lower course. The surroundings are beautiful. It is an absolutely magical place to play miniature golf at night. It is fun for the whole family. There is plenty of parking at Hillbilly Golf. So again, it's one of the places that I do highly recommend going to in Gatlinburg. And finally, the Sweet Fanny Adams Theater, opened in 1977. Its shows are quick-witted. They're filled with the broadest humor and the silliest of slapstick, all guaranteed to be like nothing you've ever seen. It's 2 hours of hilarious fun, lively music, top-notch performers, and lots of audience participation. They have 2 new comedy shows that are presented. They're presented on alternating nights throughout the season. Again, that's the Sweet Fanny Adams Theater. So one of the more popular things to do lately in Gatlinburg, the adult beverage. 2 of our favorite moonshine tasting places is, of course, Old Smoky's Moonshine. The other one is Sugarland Shine. Both of them are conveniently located down on the Parkway. The tastings at both places are just a fun experience. The people who do the pouring of the moonshine, the antics that go along with them, are just absolutely outstanding. Don't think that just because you went to one, you don't have to go to the other, because both of them do feature different flavors of moonshine. Some of them are similar, but some of them are distinctly different, so there's some you can get at one and not the other. It is worth going into both Sugarland Shine and Old Smoky's if you like having a good time at those places. Highly recommended. Again, I don't recommend doing the moonshine tastings before you go up onto that sky bridge. Be smart. So let's talk food. First off, let's talk breakfast. With 11 million people coming through the area, there are a lot of different places to feed a lot of different people. And especially when you take a look at the sheer number of hotels and hotel rooms, these places do get fairly busy, and they get fairly busy fairly early in the day. So if you're going to get up and have breakfast at some of these premier places that I'm about to talk about, do plan on getting up early if you want to eat breakfast right away. Otherwise, be prepared because you probably will be waiting to go to breakfast. Having said that, first on the list, Crockett's 1875 Breakfast Camp. I love Crockett's. A lot of people love Crockett's, and it's definitely one that you're going to be standing in line for if you get there late. They have this griddle cake that is enormous. They have these cinnamon rolls that are just absolutely outstanding. When you walk in the front door, you get that blast of the smell of cinnamon rolls. It's almost criminal because you start drooling right there on the spot. Plus, you can also look through the glass panel right there, and you actually see them making the cinnamon rolls. Absolutely fantastic. Their skillets are the size of a skillet. I mean, they're massive. The food portions are huge. The prices are fair. The service is always friendly, and it's always quick. That's why Crockett's really is one of the most popular places in Gatlinburg for breakfast. And you can certainly read from the reviews. It's a really good place. It's a good choice for breakfast. The next location is what I refer to as the Dame Judi Dench of pancake houses, and that's the Pancake Pantry. Right on the Parkway. Again, extremely popular. It's got a long history of following of customers and guests coming to the area. Pancake Pantry was the first pancake house to open in the Gatlinburg area. Their portions are huge. Their service is great. Their setting is a bit more elegant. Just a wonderful place to have breakfast, and that's the Pancake Pantry. Another place that I like going is Atrium Pancakes. Atrium Pancakes is, again, right on the Parkway. They have that beautiful waterfall right next to the location. Highly recommend having their famous baked apple pancake. Just outstanding. It is served with this absolutely delicious homemade apple syrup. Just a fantastic choice, again, for breakfast. They also have omelets, so on and so forth, and other things that go along with it. Atrium Pancakes, you can't go wrong with a baked apple pancake. Now, the next place to go for pancakes, and this is a favorite of mine and my wife's, and that is the Log Cabin Pancake House. And that is down on the Historic Nature Trail. It's off the parkway a little bit. You can't miss it because there is a covered wagon sticking out of the front facade of the building. It's big, so even if you do see a line there, the line moves very, very quickly. The pancakes there are fantastic. My wife doesn't even open the menu. It's blueberry pancakes and a side of the sausage links. She doesn't order anything else. They are just over the top. Their homemade syrups are fantastic. I eat omelets there. You can't go wrong with the Log Cabin Pancake House. Now, the local favorite is out off of Highway 321, stoplight number 3, and that is Little House of Pancakes. It's a little pancake place. This is frequented by a lot of locals. It's a very casual, almost like I hate to say like an old-fashioned like 50s diner feel to it, but it's kind of got that when you go in. They've got a large menu of pancakes. They've got a good amount of other side dishes, biscuits and gravies, but that's Little House of Pancakes, and that's out on Highway 321, stoplight number 3. Again, that's a good place to go. Now, getting a little more special is the Donut Fryer. If you love donuts as much as I love donuts, Donut Fryer's been a mainstay. They are in the village, just off the parkway. So that's the Donut Fryer. Don't miss them. Crust and Crumb, which is one of my favorite places to go. They are up off of off Highway 321, up in the Glades area, up in the arts and crafts community. They have bagels. They have pastries. They also have a lunch fare that goes along with it, but their pastries are absolutely out of this world. They have great coffee, and that's the Crust and Crumb up in Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg also has Flapjack's Pancake Cabin. A couple other places to go is Bennett's Barbecue Pit. Yes, believe it or not, for breakfast. They have an all-you-can-eat breakfast bar. And then Timber's Log Cabin Restaurant. Again, that's in the Glades. It's family-owned. Everything up there is made from scratch. And that's another very popular place. It's Timber's Log Cabin Restaurant. Again, up in the Glades. Okay, where to go for lunch? Several different places that I highly recommend. First on the list is Old Dad's. Old Dad's is kind of down right before you start heading into the national park. Old Dad's is a country store, but they also have a lunch counter in the back. They make fantastic sandwiches back there. The potato chips are really, really good. Again, it's not huge, not massive seating, anything along those lines, but really, really, really good food. And that's at Old Dad's. Hungry Bear Barbecue, that's another popular place to go for lunch. Portions are large. The barbecue is great. So don't miss going to the Hungry Bear Barbecue. That is, again, I believe that is off the Historic Nature Trail. Parton's Deli has been serving Gatlinburg for 42 years. It's one of the local favorites. They have a large selection of deli sandwiches, both cold and hot. They're famous for their chili dogs that are made to order. They have homemade potato salad, coleslaw, deviled eggs, and for dessert, they have a delicious lemon pound cake. Next is New Orleans Sandwich Company. They're known for authentic poor boys, sandwiches, crawfish, shrimp plates. Again, that's the New Orleans Sandwich Company. Tom and Earl's, great food, great fun, relaxed Smoky Mountain atmosphere. Next up is Three Jimmy's. Three Jimmy's is located near Glades Road. Relaxed environment, great beer. They have a broad menu, really good place to go. A lot of people recommend their pizza. So again, that's Three Jimmy's. Now, someplace completely different is again up in the Glades area, and this is the Wild Plum Tea Room. It's inspired by an Austrian-style tea house. Lunch at the Wild Plum is a must for any Gatlinburg visitor. They offer fresh homemade food, delicious, and unlike anything else offered in Gatlinburg. Again, that's the Wild Plum Tea Room. Fanny Farkles, do you like cheesesteak? They have cheesesteaks and famous sausage subs, which is smothered in sautéed peppers and onions. And then finally, there's Blaine's Grill and Bar. It's a little bit of everything. It's burgers, sandwiches, chicken, fish, pastas, and dessert. Again, right there on the parkway, that's Blaine's Grill and Bar. Now, moving on to dinner, there are a lot of different dinner choices in Gatlinburg and a lot of different directions that you can go in when it comes to dinner in Gatlinburg. One of my favorite places to go is the Alamo. I absolutely love the steak. They have also a great selection of chops. They have a full menu, cocktails. The Alamo is just off of 321. The original Alamo sadly burned down in the fire in 2016, but they have since rebuilt, and it's better than ever. And again, that's the Alamo. Peddler Steakhouse is a wonderful steakhouse. They have a huge salad bar. The steaks are chosen by you tableside, and they're prepared exactly how you like them. Absolutely fantastic side dishes, wonderful desserts, and again, that's the Peddler Steakhouse. The Greenbrier has just reopened. It's reopened with new owners. The Greenbrier has been known as the best place to go for trout in the Gatlinburg area. We're happy to see that they're back open again, and I said they just recently opened. So again, that's the Greenbrier. The Greenbrier again is off of 321, or otherwise known as the East Parkway, stoplight number 3. You kind of have to look for the signs because they're nestled back a little bit, but easy enough to find. Again, out in that same direction is Crystal Creek. Crystal Creek is a wonderful restaurant. Again, tucked away a little bit off the road, but right on 321, but a little bit back from the road. The restaurant has this unique waterfall where water drips down over the top of the building off of the metal roof. So it's like you're sitting on the back side of the waterfall. It's kind of nestled along the creek. So very, very beautiful grounds. The food is outstanding. I had their chicken fried chicken, which was wonderful. My wife had the trout there, and again, the trout there is absolutely great. They have this hummingbird cake dessert that is made by the owner, and it is absolutely outstanding. What a wonderful finish to your dinner. Great wine selection, great cocktail selection. They do have live music there that plays throughout the week. And again, that's at Crystal Creek. Really good time there. Park Grill is another popular place to go, as is Bennett's Barbecue Pit. There's Calhoun's Restaurant, the Smoky Mountain Brewery, which is a great place to go for burgers, sandwiches. They have pretty good pizza, and of course the beer. Old Red is come onto the scene here in Gatlinburg, very popular. This is the Blake Shelton inspired restaurant. A whole lot of people like going there, very crowded, and it's your typical bar fare menu. But that, again, is at Old Red. They do have live music down there also. If you're looking for Italian, they do have Taste of Italy. And if you're looking for something a little bit Mexican, there's El Sonador, which is a wonderful Mexican restaurant. I can't recommend this place highly enough. That is right at the corner of, I believe it's right at stoplight number 3, is El Sonador. It's up on the second floor of the building. And then Loco Burro, right down on the Parkway, one of the few places in Gatlinburg that has a rooftop eating area is Loco Burro. So that wraps up just a few of the highlights of places to go for dinner in Gatlinburg. Now, if you're looking for tasty treats, or we're going out for dessert or late night, just a snack that you're looking for, there's Kilwin's Chocolate right down on Main Street. There is Mad Dog's Creamery and Donuts. There is the Village Cafe and Creamery. There is the Chocolate Monkey, again, right downtown on the Parkway, if you're looking for chocolate candies and that kind of thing. And then finally, something unique up in the, again, in the Glades area is the Glades Soda Fountain, which is a old-fashioned soda fountain where they'll make different sodas and different ice cream dishes. And that's up in the Glades area. That's the Glades Soda Fountain. So there it is. There's my quick overview of the Gatlinburg area. Hopefully you got some useful information out of that. I want to thank you for listening to the podcast. Again, more episodes will be coming up. And remember, a fed bear is a dead bear. Please don't feed the bears. Thanks for listening. An Outsider's Guide to the Smoky Mountains was brought to you by Dancing Barefoot Cabin. If you're looking for a log cabin lodging experience beyond the ordinary, then Dancing Barefoot Cabin is for you. Conveniently located in between Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. Explore the possibilities at dancingbarefoot.com. That's dancingbarefoot, BEARFOOT.com. Pizza Bear illustration by Kenton Visser. Music by Jay Denton.